Hey everybody, we are live. How's it going? Welcome to another Tuesday. Hey everybody. And I'm getting some feedback as I normally do because I left my damn YouTube open. How's everybody doing? We got another Tuesday happy hour queued up. Maybe happy's not the right word, but it's a whiskey hour for sure. And Lord knows we could all use a little bit of that every once in a while, especially intense times like this. So I'm definitely ready to chat whiskey and get our minds off some things for a little bit of while and enjoy the luxury of being able to do that, as some folks cannot. So what's good? We got a couple folks in the house already, I see. One named Nestor in the house. Hey, happy Tuesday, whiskey peeps. Lots of Jameson in my glass. I can't say that you're making a poor decision with that, my friend. I hope you and yours are doing as well as possible, Slancha. I got a couple things lined up for today. Before, as always, we'll join Telex, the Whiskey Tech, for a little bit of a tour through Craig Ellicky. He's going to be reviewing the Craig Ellicky 17-year-old. Craig Ellicky is not a distillery that I'm super familiar with really at all, having not had any, but I was able to get my hands on a bottle of this Craig Ellicky 13, which appears to be their introductory to their core range. Really nice looking tube and bottle. We're going to check this out. He's going to be doing a little bit of an older one, lucky him, but 13 years old sounds pretty good to me. So we'll be checking that out a bit later today. In the meantime, looks like Ben Demon Hunter's in the house. Hey, Ben, how are you? Hope your Tuesday's going all right. Nice to see you. I am currently sipping on Dad's Hat. This is a Pennsylvania rye whiskey. It's a craft distillery just outside where I am in Philadelphia. They're in Bristol, not too far up the road from me. This is a barrel select exclusive bottle. It is single barrel at cask strength, coming in at a whopping 61.2% ABV, just the way I like a rye, and appears to be just over about 4 years old, which is another good sign. Most of the stuff that Dad's Hat puts out is almost all of it is non-age statement. It's relatively young. So as I sip on this, I'll tell you a little bit about Dad's Hat. I'm not sure this is a whiskey that's super familiar around the United States, let alone around the world. But they have been making a name for themselves. I think they got some accolades from, I don't know what it was. I think the Whiskey Advocate, they got some type of award for being their craft distillery of the year. I don't know, a couple of years back. I'd have to go look it up, but all their bottles look like this. They got a couple of really interesting ones. They have a vermouth finished bottle. They have a port wine finish. They have another wine finish, if I'm not mistaken. And in addition, they got kind of a regular craft rye, which I've reviewed actually in the past. Then they have this straight rye, and then this one, which is at cask strength barrel proof. So this is a store pick from a place I like to visit in South Jersey. And so sipping a little bit of this tonight, need something strong these days. And it's going down well. What's going on with everybody else? Ben said, I saw your Instagram post about that bourbon. Oh, right on. Yeah. I picked up a couple store picks relatively recently, and both from the same place. One is one of the Knob Creek. It's one of those single barrel Knob Creeks. Is a 12-year-old rye, and this Pennsylvania rye. So Ben said, I honestly forgot about this today. I finished moving yesterday. Very happy I still caught this at the beginning. Oh, right on. Moving across town, cross country, cross state, province. Matt D's in the house. What's up, Matt? Just been comparing Oban 14 with Highland Park 12, so I'm taking a break, wondering what to pour next. Hope you're doing okay over there in the USA. Yeah, well, cheers for that, man. I'm not doing bad. I'm in, as I just mentioned, I'm in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, West Philadelphia area of the city. A lot going on around here. A lot happening in this city, and many others for that matter. But, keeping on as much as well as I can. And definitely going to enjoy a couple pours tonight. It already feels like it's been a long week. And honestly, it's just got started. So what can you do? Cool. In addition, Ben said he just moved down the street. Oh, right on, man. Hope it went well for you. So a little bit more about Dad's Hat. Dad's Hat is what's called a Pennsylvania rye whiskey. Pennsylvania, at least as far as the United States is concerned, is the home of, or the birthplace of rye whiskey. And a Pennsylvania rye is actually kind of a distinct style. So it is all rye and barley. So they don't use any corn in their whiskey. So all the stuff that you get out of places like Dad's Hat are going to be a mix of rye and barley. So a little bit of a distinct flavor. I think it gives it, it tames down the sweetness first and foremost that you get off of a lot of, ryes that are mixed with high corn mash bills. This one, it's a bit on the spicier side, a little bit drier, a little bit grainier, which I really, really actually quite enjoy. And they make really good stuff. So I'm going to sip on this. And then later, something else I got relatively recently. This is Old Ezra. This is a 7-year-old barrel strength whiskey, 58.5%. This is a whiskey that a lot of folks in the bourbon community got a lot of positive things to say about. And I think this is, it's coming in at a little bit of a lower price point than a lot of the kind of barrel strengths. I mean, this is a lot cheaper than your Elijah Craig barrel proof, your Stag Junior barrel proof, your Wild Turkey rare breed, stuff like that. And I was able to find a bottle that's about $43. I mean, this is one that honestly I see a lot of folks on secondary market chasing down. So I had a little bit, but I'm going to open up and sip a bit more of that. And maybe compare it with the newest Elijah Craig. Well, the first Elijah Craig from this year, the only one I've been able to get so far, the A120. And then later we'll round things out by visiting our good friend, Mr. Cloudy, the Glen Scotia single cask, see what 2 weeks of oxidization has done to this bad boy. So got a bunch lined up for tonight. We're going to try a couple different things. We'll get into it. But let me just check in on the chat here real quick before we get started on this little whiskey journey here for, we'll just call it Whiskey Hour, not Happy Hour. Ben Demon Hunter said, well, it's also our daughter's birthday. Oh, cheers, man. Happy birthday to your daughter. Where's everyone? Only 3 people, usually around 11 to 15. Yeah. Looks like we got 8 folks in the chat now, but yeah, man, I mean, this is a very unique week. So, I hope a lot of folks are doing what they got to do. We'll see what happens. Mike's in the house. What's up, Mike? Good to see you, buddy. Dad's Hat is a rise rye for sure. Well put, man. Well put. That's about exactly the way I would say it. I really dig their style. I like this Pennsylvania rye style. And if you just joined, I was just commenting on this Pennsylvania Dad's Hat Pennsylvania rye I'm sipping on now. So the Pennsylvania rye thing is interesting because it's only barley and rye from what I understand. No corn in this at all. So you're not getting those sweet bourbon notes. It's definitely a different style of rye, but I won't say it's like incredibly dissimilar. You're still getting some of that creamy barrel influence, but there's a lot more spice. There's a lot more kind of dryness, a bit more graininess to it than even I would notice on, even 100% rye or high rye mash bills that you get with, that are mixed with corn. So it's good stuff. And as I mentioned, this is a store pick. This is about a $60 bottle. It's a single barrel at cask strength, 61.2%, 4 years old. It says aged minimum of 3 years on the side, but since it's a store pick, they put dates on it. This was distilled September 2nd, 2014, bottled October 1st, 2018. So 4 years old. Good stuff. I quite enjoy it. It's a bit of a winter warmer. We'll see how how it fares as the weather's getting warmer. I might have to put this one away for a while. I usually don't mess around with rye too much. This might be a good thing to chat about, actually. I'd be interested if y'all actually, any of you choose certain styles of whiskey that you kind of drink based on seasons. For me, well, I like to have my strong peated stuff pretty much all the time. I do tend to gravitate towards kind of a little bit lighter whiskeys, things with a little more citrus, things with a little more kind of sweet honey notes, or in the case of bourbon, just a little bit lighter bourbons, not so much of that heavy barrel influence caramel, but more like, sweeter fruity notes when the weather's getting warmer. I'm not trying to drink a ton of stuff with a lot of baking spices in it when it's 85 degrees out. But that's just me. Be interested if any of y'all kind of take a seasonal approach. Ben says, awesome. Weekly updates on the Glen Scotia. Yeah. We're going to get back into it, man. Cloudy bottle here. So this is 2 weeks now. 2 weeks since we opened it. Oxidizing for 2 weeks. As you recall, last week we had progress. I think that horrible, just kind of chewed vitamin, chalky Pepto funk note that was on it had dissipated a bit off the nose, off the neck pour. We'll see what's up with this now. I have not touched this since last week, so we'll check that out at the bottom of the hour, man. Hoping that it's got better still. Mike says you're a trooper with that cloud pump. Yeah. Hey man, I can't give up on it yet. Jack's in the house saying, evening folks. What's up, Jack? How are you, man? Hope you're doing all right. Cheaters. Mike says, more than not, I drink my bourbon with ice in the summer. Oh, right on. Yeah, that makes sense. I should probably consider doing that. I haven't had a whiskey on ice in quite some time, let alone a bourbon. Be curious what bourbons you like in specific, Mike. What are some of your favorites? Oh, we're only about 12 minutes in, and I'm down already on that rye. So, hey, let me wash this glass out a little bit, and we'll check out this old Ezra. Jack says, looking forward to whiskey on the rocks for the summer. Knob Creek store pick. 6-year rye, 57. Ooh, nice. Is that the cast? That's the cast strength, huh? Oh, no, I know what you're talking about. They do like a rye, like rye store picks, man. They're so great with that. Man, they really are. They do a great job with those store picks. I grabbed a knob bourbon 12-year. It was like $48. Still just criminally cheap for that age of a whiskey. Although I see Knob Creek is now going to be putting out a 15-year-old standard release. I don't know if it's going to be core range or if it's limited. I think it's probably going to be 46%, similar to what they've done with that 12. It's going to be one of those situations where you can get the single barrel if it's a store pick at that higher age statement. I'm curious what they do with this 15. I just saw a picture of it today on Instagram, so I'm not quite sure if this new knob is going to be at 46% or if they're going to go lower with it. I'm not sure, but could be good. Jack says, wish I could find that Ezra. Yeah, I'm going to check that out right now. Oh, so here it is. Jason Coates is in the house. What's up, Jason? How are you, buddy? Hope you're doing well, man. I'm gonna pour this now. So this is that old Ezra. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, like this is a whiskey that I see a lot of folks kind of searching out. It's 7 years. It's all like MGP sourced whiskey. I don't think they're not making anything of their own just yet. I think they're owned by Lux Row Distillers. So yeah, this is all going to be sourced juice. The thing about it, barrel strength, 58.5. But where it kind of lands in terms of the market on these barrel strength whiskeys is that it's sub $50. So unlike the Elijah Craig barrel proof, obviously 12 years, but still that's like a $75 bottle in a lot of cases. Wild Turkey Rare Breed is kind of in that $50 range. No age on that one, but this one, age stated, 7 years, barrel strength. So We'll put some of this in the glass, and then I'm going to probably compare it with this Elijah Craig, just because I have it open and I've been sipping on it and enjoying it, just see if I can tell any difference. But I'm not quite sure what to expect of that just yet. Let me just see if there's anything worth talking about in here. So EzraBrooks.com, yeah, they don't say nothing about this whiskey on here other than the ABV proof. Distilled and aged in Kentucky for Lux Row Distillers. Charcoal mellowed. Ooh, that must be, maybe that means Tennessee process? I don't know. Probably. Yeah, I don't know nothing about Lux Row, but I'm just assuming this is going to be all source juice. We shall see. But that's what the color looks like. Not bad. It's pretty mellow on the nose. Yeah, so talking about those summer drinkers, man, ECB with the cube is nice, especially on the spicier ones. Yeah, I can imagine, man. Jack said, Junkie's all excited about ECB 520 last night. Man, I haven't been able to find that yet. I've heard good things about it. I don't know what you were checking out. Oh, the Bourbon Junkies. So they got their hands on it already, man. They're lucky. Stuff doesn't land here. Usually it's like 2 months after it gets released. Pretty mellow. There's the spice. Spice really hits on the finish on this one. Good body. Nice creamy. Bit of fruit note. We'll see what else happens with this. Ben said, just having a close family over soon. So at some point I'll need to jump out for daughter's birthday. Really enjoying these Tuesdays. Oh, cheers, man. Appreciate that, Ben. It's been fun chatting with you every Tuesday. Happy birthday to the young one. How old is she turning? Jack says, all I see is the B519. Yeah, I still see that one pretty much all over the place too. That I think was the weakest of the releases last year, but that's not saying much because they were all fantastic. That's a good bottle, but everybody wants to get their hands on the latest stuff, man. I'd love to get my hand on the new one. The A120 is really, really solid. So with the old Ezra, vanilla, slight toffee, cinnamon spice. Man, bourbon notes. It's warming though, No alcohol sharpness, despite 7-year age statement and almost 60% ABV. It's 58.5 to be exact. Not really much alcohol note or burn on it, which is nice. This is something that, like, surprisingly, this is neat. It's sippable neat without any water. It comes in really nice, slightly fruity, a little bit of that like apple note. Again, sippable, man, 58.5%, but man, that's sippable neat. Sometimes you got to put a little water on these. I'm not kidding you. Sometimes you just need to. Vanilla, slight citrus, apple. But boy, as the finish comes in is where it gets drying and spicy. So it's like that oaky, dry, tannic spice. Spices from the cinnamon, definitely. Medium on the finish, not bad. So this, like I said, this is like a $40-some bottle. 40, 45 bucks, give or take. I mean, for something coming in with an age statement, barrel strength, and I do love me a barrel strength bourbon. Excuse me. Barrel strength bourbon, like, respectable. I'm not sure I would go seek it again quite yet. It's just because I think there's one barrel proof bourbon kind of in this range that I'm a big fan of, which is the Wild Turkey Rare Breed, which I just think is slightly better. All right. Let me just catch up here right quick. Some happy birthdays going around to Ben's 11-year-old daughter. Happy birthday, young Ben Demon Hunter. Jack's got a son turning 12 next month. Oh, man, birthday's coming up. 2 hours. Oh, you got 2 hours, huh? Oh, I just got an emergency alert. citywide curfew is back in effect for Philly, 8:30 p.m. tonight, which is 10 minutes from now. Been getting these every night as of late. Not surprised. Yeah, happy birthday's going around. Jason says, well, then settle in for a couple hours. Yeah, you got 2 hours. You know, you just got to make sure you show up proper. Can't be showing up too sauced up, too smiley, you know. Matt D said, not a lot of ryes here in Norway. It's never had any. There are a few, but expensive. Oh yeah, I bet they're all going to be allocated imports for you guys. That's interesting, man. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know if rye is something that grows around there. I mean, they probably have some rye that they were using in vodkas or something in somewhere around Europe. But man, we got to get Matt D a rye. Somebody want to ship him something? He's got to try a rye. Mike says, is that a liter bottle? No, this is a this is just standard size. This is the 750 liter or 750 mil, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, 750 milliliter. Standard size bottle here in the U.S. I know in like Europe it's 700. Not bad stuff. Not sure it's like something I'm going to be able to review anytime soon, but let's just see for shits and giggles how it stacks up with this Elijah Craig barrel proof. Now I'm a lucky guy because I got 2 places not far from me in southern New Jersey that get Elijah Craig barrel proof for sub $60 or about $60. And I know that's, you know, I'm not trying to brag. So like, I know that's a stupid cheap price given how expensive this can be in other places. And this is 5 years older, but just for the hell of it, you know, let's just kind of see how it matches up with this. Ooh. So there's the old Ezra. There's the Elijah Craig, man. I mean, it's just light years darker. This is the Elijah right here. Yeah, way darker. We'll see what 5 years and 10% more can do. In the meantime, Andrew Page. Everybody just got in. What's there drinking? Good timing, man. Started off with a little store-picked Dad's Hat. Single barrel cask strength rye. Pennsylvania rye, to be precise. Now I'm sipping on a little bit of this old Ezra 7-year-old bourbon and comparing it to the Elijah Craig barrel proof A batch from this year, just to kind of see how stark the difference is. So far, the old Ezra, really solid, sippable, doesn't even need water at 58%. Medium on the finish, not super complex, but a good all-in-all bourbon. So I'm going to compare it to this, and then, you know, I'll be getting back into this for our 2 week review of our cloudy Glen Scotia. We'll see what's happened with that in the last week. I have not sipped it since last week on the live, so we'll see what's up with that. So we'll check in, see what's going on. All right. I'm going to try a sip of this Elijah Craig now. Wow. That is so intense. This Elijah Craig barrel proof is 68.3, so this is almost 10% higher. Oh man, it's not even comparable. So much more just concentrated, intense caramel, toffee, vanilla, cinnamon, leather. Finish is so much longer too. Wow. That 5-year difference is huge. And maybe that 10% alcohol. I'm going to actually put a little water on this, see if I can bring it down. We'll just put a half drop, see if it brings it down to the same thing as this old Ezra, but we'll see what's up. Cool. Got 11 folks in the house. Let me catch up on this chat. What's going on? Jack says, anybody try Clyde May's 8-year 117 or any Alabama whiskey? I have not. Actually, that's a lie. I did try just the regular Clyde Mays they had it at a Total Wine. They were just handing out little samples. I couldn't tell you what I think. I mean, it was just a quick little drink. It seemed all right, but I'm not sure if anybody else here is, and if so, you should definitely share because I'm not super familiar. But it's cool that they got a cast strength out. It's speaking my language. I want to keep an eye on that. Mike's talking about early time. Jack, I was mansplaining MGP sourcing to my wife yesterday. Is she still your wife? You better check your marital status today. I hope you didn't spend too much time on it. That's too funny, man. Look, you got to understand. So MGP is this place in Indiana, right? So like, while you could have a distillery and put your own brand on it, they actually source it, and they got a couple different types of mash bills you can buy. I'm sure she was highly intrigued by it. Well, and if she was, you got a good one. Neo Xerxes, what's up? How you doing? Happy Tuesday. Hope you're staying safe. Everybody's well. Where am I at in this chat? This thing moves too fast. I don't like it on StreamYard. Richie Z. Oh, Peter White's in the house. What's up, Peter? And Richie Z. How you doing? Good to see you guys. Jason Coates. Toffee cinnamon leather. Sounds like my... Oh, Jason, man. You know how much I appreciate you, man. You stop by any time with that. That's hilarious. Good stuff. Good to see you, Richie and Peter. I hope you guys are staying well. I'm upright and alive, says Jason. And these days, that's pretty damn good. Yeah. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? She is buying local NYS bourbon for gifts to bring to Florida. Oh, there you go. Yeah, so periodically, y'all are going to hear sirens and helicopters in the background here. I hope it doesn't distort the audio extremely, but it may, in which case I'm just going to have to roll with it. But here in West Philadelphia, things have been tense, to say the least. So I would not, I would not be surprised if we get some audio interruptions here and there, but so it goes. Good to see you too, Richie. Mike says, hey, have you quizzed her on the Four Roches mask? Oh, man, that's too funny. Too funny. Oh, interesting. That I did not know. Andrew says, are we talking Craig Alecky tonight with Telex? Got my 13 today from Total Wine. As a matter of fact, we are. And as a matter of fact, I also got a bottle of 13. Craig Alecky 13. So I don't know jack about this distillery. They got a super cool presentation, though. Really dig their kind of old style. My good comrade, Telex the Whiskey Tech, is going to be digging into the Craig Alecky 17 tonight. While I could not find a bottle of the 17 to try to match him with it, I did find the 13, which is easily available. So I'm going to crack this tonight. 46%. Non-chill filtered. All the good stuff. I don't know much about Craig Alecky, but this will be cool. It's a cool looking bottle too. I mean, that's just a unique looking label. Speaking of labels that were unique and are no longer unique, have you guys seen what Ben Romick has done to their label? They've changed their branding up. Be curious if anybody's got opinions about that. But this is really cool looking. It kind of looks like a Springbank bottle. They got this thing, Craig Alecky. It says Speyside on it. Talk about their worm tubes. I don't know much about it, but we're going to find out tonight. So Andrew, do join us, man. We can sip this together. I'll be curious to hear your notes. Definitely be curious to hear your notes. Santa Cruz's in the house. What's up, buddy? Cheers. Hope you're doing all right. Keeping it tight, staying safe, all that. I almost went for the mash bill and saw the glaze in her eyes. Explaining to the wife MGP and mash bills. Now that is a conversation. Yeah, you have anything knocking on your door? Stay safe. You know, man, I am not far from where a lot of activity has been going on the last 72 hours here in Philly. So if there's a knock on the door, I'm going to do my best not to answer it. I'll just put it that way. Stay inside drinking with friends. Yeah, man. I mean, that's what I got to do tonight. I need a little bit of time to decompress. It's been a long weekend built on long months of this coronavirus stuff here in Philly. Like, times are hard, man. A lot of people in a lot of pain in this city for a lot of reasons. some very specific reasons as of late. And, we got to just keep going on and doing what we do and fighting the good fight and all that jazz. So, Jason Coates, that's a good bottle. I have one marinating in a port-soaked mini cask right now. Oh, nice. You talking about Craig Ellicky? Man, yeah. Y'all probably know more about Craig Ellicky than I do. Neo with the best question ever. Yes, I have. If anybody in the chat has, do share. I did actually do a review of it a while back. If you're interested in going and checking out, I did a review of the Bruichladdich Black Art 4.1, which was the final one done by the original master distiller of the Black Art range, which was Jim McEwen, who has since left for opening his distillery, Ardnahoe. I can tell you, I don't know what price you're seeing it for. It is the best Scotch I've ever had, is the Bruichladdich Black Art 4.1. It's a 23-year-old. Its vintage statement on it is 1990. Absolutely amazing. The complexity, the mouthfeel, like I've never had a Scotch that did what that one does. So depending on which one I see, the 4.1 is the only one I can really vouch for. I've heard great things about all of them. I know that the ones after the 4.1 are with the new master distiller over at Bruichladdich. I can't tell you much about whether or not they're amazing, but it depends what price you're saying. If you're seeing it for sub $350 and you have that kind of capital and want to buy something that's going to be kind of a once in a lifetime dram, depending on your income level, that's a good one to grab. You can't go wrong with Bruichladdich Black Art. It's amazing. So that's what I can tell you about that. Jason says Ben-Roma committed a crime of design in their bottles. How did they ever get the green light? Yeah, I saw somebody on Instagram refer to the new Ben-Roma design as looking like a cheap Soviet vodka ripoff, which I could totally see. It's just red and white. They went for this kind of industrial look. A lot of folks were saying the old Ben-Roma kind of looked like wine. It was kind of like written in calligraphy cursive, but it at least was a little bit unique among single malts. The new one, I'm not so sure. Everybody's always trying to rebrand. It just, what it is it looks similar to like what Ball Blair did, where it's just going to kind of look like every other single malt Scotch, big capital letter, name banner across the top, and then info about the age. It just, there's nothing unique about it. It doesn't stand out in any way. It doesn't catch the eye necessarily. Unfortunately, that's the way some of these folks roll. And it looks like Ben-Roma has made it. It is drastically different than what the old one looked like. I'll just tell you that much. So do check it out. You can probably just find it on Twitter. Richie's got a physical tomorrow. Damn. Craig Ellicky has worm tubes. Okay, what did I just see that? Ben-Roma, what the fuck? Man, back at you, Santa Cruzan. I hear you on that. Somebody said something about the worm. Oh, here, Jack said worm tubes. I get the 13 for 44. Hate to brag, but NYS prices usually suck. Yeah, I've heard like New York City, especially, the prices are sucking. I think that's what you're talking about. The prices can be a little bit varied there, but I've actually found some decent prices somewhere other places in the state. But it all varies. Yeah. Oh, so Peter White, I have had the 4.1, 5.1, 6.1, all excellent. 4.1 is better than most. As for the price, tough decision. Oh, you're talking about the Bruichladdich. Yeah, it really is contingent. I mean, when you get whiskeys like that, sometimes you find them at places who are selling them for like $350, which I think is probably the lowest you're ever going to find a Bruichladdich Black Art. Most of the time, you're looking at $450, $500 USD. I mean, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money for a whiskey. If you're the type that can afford it, go for it. If you're like, you got a little extra money for some reason, once in a lifetime, probably worth grabbing. But otherwise, keep your eyes peeled for it if you can find it in that sub 375 range, because there are places that sell it that cheap, and that's a deal for the price. So still doing a little bit of this back and forth with the old Ezra and the Elijah Craig. I mean, I still think the Elijah Craig is just exponentially better, but that's no slight on this old Ezra. This old Ezra is solid barrel strength, 7-year-old for sub $50. And you're just not going to be able to find that stuff much longer. Craig Elliott is Diageo, right? I believe. I actually don't know. I'm not actually sure it is, but let me just double check. No, doesn't say anything about Diageo on it. Let me just check the bottle here right quick. I don't think they are. No. Craig Elliott Distillery is in Aberlour. Not sure who their parent company is. It does not say anywhere. Usually the Diageo folks put the stamp on it somewhere. It says Edward and Mackay. Edward and Mackay are the founders. I don't know if they're still related or connected to this. Yeah, I think I can confidently say it's not Diageo. Which is surprising because they own like half the world. Peter White says he's saying thanks after Peter White. It's changed a lot with the new master distiller, dude. I'd love to try the new 7.1 and McEwen's and Malt Misery. We'll go check out your review later. Well, yeah, do it. I did a review of the 4.1. So last year I did the 4.1 was my whiskey of the year. So I basically broke my whiskey of the year up into two categories, under 100 and over 100. That was my over 100. Under 100 was the Glen Scotia 15. It's absolutely amazing. I don't know about the rest of them, but I'm sure they're all really good. Cool. All right, y'all. I'm going to get these bourbons down. So we're at the bottom of the hour, a little bit after, which means we're going to get back into our cloudy friend, the Glen Scotia Distillery hand-filled bottle. These are some damn good bourbons, man. I recommend either of these if you can get your hands on them. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, even the old Ezra, really good stuff. So, our strange and terrible saga of the wow, there's some sediment on the bottom of this that is I wish I could show you guys this. As you recall, 2 weeks ago, I, with a lot of enthusiasm, opened this Glen Scotia single cask distillery bottling, hand-filled, about 10 years old, approximately. Sherry and peat on the nose, they say. I was super excited about this. This was over $100, and I've become such a huge fan of Glen Scotia. And if you look 2 weeks back at the video, you'll remember how honestly freaked out I was by a note on this, which I can only describe as chewable sweet vitamins meets chalky Pepto-Bismol meets the weirdest funk shoe polish I've ever had. It was awful. So last week, or for that first week, I let this sit out open overnight for about 8 hours. And last week we tried it. Things have gotten a little bit better. And now it's time to try it again. I once again left this open for about 4 hours with no cork on it, obviously, because that would be what open is. And have not had a sip of it since last week. So I don't have a clean glass in front of me. So I'm going to just clean out one of these with some nice cold water. And we are going to see if this Glen Scotia, after 2 weeks, if that weird note has diminished and that delicious, sweet sherry spiciness that I was noticing beneath that when I opened it is coming more to the forefront. So let's put some of this in the glass. Just one more look, because it still is blowing my mind after 2 weeks. The cloudiest bottle of whiskey you've ever seen. Look at that, y'all. I'm going to put it in front of this light. Look at this. You can't even see the light through that. I swear to God, man, I don't know what is going on with this, but we are well past the neck pour at this point. 2 weeks in, past the neck pour. Let's see what we're working with. I'm going to let this sit for a second. I'll catch up on the chat and then we'll get into it. Peter White says that Glen Scotia does not look right. Yeah, that makes two of us, man. Your and I's eyes are the same. There's some great comments. You guys are cracking me up, man. Mike says, I've had less cloudy applesauce. I've had a less cloudy day in Scotland. Oh, hey, shady Glen Scotia bottle is back. I still think it is corked. It is corked and / spoiled. So as I mentioned, I did write to the company that sent this to me, asking some specific questions about what was wrong with this Glen Scotia. And they, rest assured, they said there was nothing wrong with the bottle. This is the way it looks. This is what you should expect. And I was like, but look at this, man. This thing is cloudier than all hell. They were resistant, and I didn't press it much after that. So I'm taking their word for it. We're just gonna keep drinking this. I'll tell you right now, I'm just gonna have this out every week. I'm gonna have this out every week until we can make a final determination. I think some of y'all's determination is probably much more ahead of mine. Since I invested more than I want to admit to you guys in this, I seem to be unwilling to call it what it is, but we'll see. All right. Wow, that cloudiness is wild, says Richie Z. Emily Chambers says, if it's cloudy, why not decant it? Yeah, good point, Emily. This thing has taken on a life of its own. By the way, welcome and cheers. Happy Tuesday to you. This is just taking on a life of its own. I thought about it. It's not that it's like sediment or anything. There's nothing really floating in it. It's just cloudy as hell. I mean, I'm like really looking here. There's a few little like ribbons of something in it. I don't even know. I really do feel like there has to be something wrong with this bottle, but they insisted that there isn't. Plus, it's a Campbelltown, so it's not exactly easy because, you know, Campbelltowns kind of are known for having a little bit of a funkiness and a uniqueness to it. This is what it's looking like in the glass after 2 weeks, y'all. Man, that is ridiculous. So, Emily, I may take your sage advice on this and actually consider doing that. But for now, we're gonna roll with this. It's kind of become a hilarious thing. Jack says Scottish fog. Yeah, man. Have you tried writing good about distillers? Are usually good about replying to questions. No, I have not wrote Glen Scotia about it. Maybe I should. Maybe I should see if they got anything to say about it. That, you know what? I'll do that this week, and next week on the happy hour, I'll report back on that. I'll write them this week. I'll send some pictures and just be like, yo, what's up with this? All right. Neo. Oh, man. All right. Yeah. You know, that's one thing I thought either. So like last week when I was talking with Telex on our show, he had mentioned that he had done that before with a whiskey to try to get some broken cork out of it, and just ran it through some like unbleached coffee filters. Seemed to have worked out okay for him. Yeah, maybe we'll see what we can do. But I'll tell you what, next step, I will write them this week. As for the nose, that funkiness is still there, but still that fruit note, the sherry note, is still fighting through. I can't say it's much different than it was last week. Man, that's so weird. It's like sherry, sweet, dark fruits. And then just in the background, this smoke of, again, weird, chalky shoe polish, sharp varnish note. It's considerably diminished compared to the neck pour, no doubt about it. It's still there, though. All right, let's taste it. I gotta tell you, it's getting better. immediately sweet sherry fruit, aged dried fruit. So like this may have sat longer than 10 years. When you get that dried fruit note, it's usually an indication of oxidization. You have a sherry aged whiskey. When it's sitting in the cask that long, you start getting those drier fruit notes, which is just the breakdown because of oxidization of fresher fruit notes. And I'm getting a little bit of that here. Also, what's different from last week than this week is more bourbon notes. So unlike last time, what I got here this time has been some caramel toffee. It didn't hang on long, but it was there. Finish goes into dry spice. And again, I'm left with that chalky thing. It's not nearly as strong as it was. It's still there though. One thing I'm not sure I did last week, and maybe I'll just try now. So just for the record, it's single cask 56.3%. So this is coming in pretty hot. I'm going to put a little bit of water on it just to see what this actually does. I don't actually recall if I did this last week, but I'm doing about a teaspoon, not really measuring. Oh, look, guys, Scotch mist. It's like this thing comes pre-Scotch mist. They misted it for us. Wow, yeah. Oily as all hell. So yeah, the water actually just clouded this up further, which is hard to imagine considering this is the cloudiest whiskey I think is on the planet right now. The water almost brings out that funky, weird varnish note even more. God, man, it's just awful. It's just awful. I should stop pretending. It's just awful. But underneath it, it's there. All right. Just so you can look at, if you were checking this out a few minutes ago, this is what it looks like now with water. I mean, it doesn't get cloudier than that. That's the cloudiest whiskey ever. All right. More balanced, more palatable, sweet, sherry, kind of dried fruit nuttiness too. There's that, it carries through pretty well. When you go into the finish, you're still getting that like nice pop of kind of caramel vanilla, which makes me think this is a mix of ex-sherry and bourbon. But again, hard to tell. There's that note again. It comes in right at the end. The smoky funk, kind of varnished chewed vitamin thing, but it's dissipated. It's even less than it was last week. I do think that even 2 weeks we were noticing some progress. It's still not great. It's still not worth what I paid for it, which I'll tell you guys later. It's not worth what I paid for it at all. So here's the deal. All right, we're going to just keep this going because it's a thing. So next week, we will check out 3 weeks of oxidization in the bottle of the Glen Scotia single cask, hand filled from the distillery. I'm going to write the distillery with pictures this week. As I told you, the folks that I bought it from insisted that this is normal. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm going to write them this. I love how it says non-chill filtered. Yeah, no shit. I don't think it's been filtered through anything. I'll write Glen Scotia this week. And if I get a response before next week's happy hour, I will read it on the show. And I will let you know what Glen Scotia says. I'm going to send them pictures. I will tell them everything that we've done with this whiskey over the last 2 weeks. I'll see what they have to say. Maybe they'll be a little bit more interested in the experience I'm having with this than, say, the folks I bought it from. But I don't know. The saga continues. So I guess tune in next week. We'll talk more about it. Anyway, so enough about that. I'm going to continue sipping on this. I'm going to catch up on the chat in a second, but I just want to give a quick plug. It is Tuesday happy hour, which means we are going to be heading in about 20, 25 minutes to the Telex and Malt Show over on Telex the Whiskey Text channel. I, as always, will post the link in the chat once we're ready to go live. Tonight we are going to be going over into Speyside and talking Craig Ellicky, my good friend Telex the Whiskey Tech, who I do whiskey reviews every Tuesday with. We chat whiskey for about 2 hours or so. He is going to be talking about a new bottle he just got, which is the Craig Ellicky 17. And while I was unable to find that, I'm going to crack open the Craig Ellicky 13. Check this out. I've never had anything from Craig Ellicky. I don't know what to expect other than I know it's a Speyside whiskey at 46% non-chill filtered, which looks good to me, reasonably priced. So once we're ready to go live, I'll pop that link in the chat for you guys. And for those who want to continue chatting whiskey tonight, join me in Telex. It'll be a lot of fun, as it always is. Let me catch up on the chat. What's going on, friends? Emily Chambers says, I mean, for science, decant some, filter and see. You don't generally want to lose oil, but yikes. Yeah. There's a universal consensus amongst the folks who've been following this for the last 2 weeks that there's something very wrong with this whiskey. I tend to agree. We're going to try it again next week. As I said, I will write Glen Scotia. The next step is going to be writing Glen Scotia, seeing what they say. I will report back next Tuesday and let you guys know. And we will, of course, try it again at 3 weeks of oxidization, because why not? The bottle's still going to be here no matter what they say. Welsh Toro's in the house saying, hey, all, what's the drink? Well, you just heard it, my friend. Good to see you, buddy. Hope all is well. Happy Tuesday, Booze Day to you. Stockholm Syndrome. Yeah, man, but it makes for good TV, doesn't it? He's right. I very much have Stockholm Syndrome. I refuse to believe that this is the worst whiskey I've ever purchased at over $100. I'll tell you that much. Eric, yeah, blah, blah, wrote to them. That whiskey is probably worth the price for the entertainment value, but hopefully keep getting better. Well, we're going to find out. We're going to find out, man. I'm not giving up on this. I'm going to roll with this until we reach the final verdict. I'm telling you, the difference between the first week I opened it and now and 1 week was considerable, measurable. It was a measurable difference for the better. Between last week and this week, however, relatively constant. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write Glen Scotia. I'm going to leave this out again for 8 hours with no cork. See what happens. And next week, I'll let you guys know. Richie said, is there a chance this will be one of those bottles that you have around for many years? It looks like it's been around for way more than the supposed almost 10 years it's been on. It looks like it's been around since, like, it says on here, it was bottled in 2000 and it was distilled in 2008. I think they meant 1808 because holy Christ, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe this will be something I'll just bust out periodically for laughs. Who knows? Or I'm going to go blind from drinking it. Emily says to Jason, say hi to the pupper. You guys must know each other. Right on, right on. Funny that the cloudiness hasn't settled. Yeah, exactly, right? I mean, it's, again, I can't really tell, but if you look at the bottle, yeah, you guys can't tell. You see the darkness on the bottom of this? That kind of black ring around the bottle? That's not glass. Like, that's not just what you're seeing. That's literally like some type of sediment of some sort. Because I can't turn it on its side enough to try to oxidize. Well, let me see. It's literally some type of like oil or vapor that goes up into the bottle if I swish it around too much. That is not just glass. I don't know what it is. Again, I'm not sure. Keep your feet on the ground. Richie. Love you, Richie. You're not lying. It's got an interesting mouthfeel too. Like I got to tell you, like the mouthfeel doesn't quite match what you think you would get from something as cloudy as this, but it is almost as if it's like closing on like a pudding. And it sounds ridiculous, like a pudding texture. It's just thick. It's super fucking thick. I don't know what to make of it. But whatever. This is all in good fun. You know, I can't return it. Let's just roll with it. We'll see what happens. I need some water, though, for real. Could be. You must have gotten the last bottle from that bottle. Very possible. I mean, I hear you. So I've drank it twice. I mean, I have not drank more than, about an ounce. So 2 weeks in, nothing's bad has happened quite yet. But no, for real. The first week, especially, Neo, I'll tell you this much. When I sipped it, I was a little bit terrified. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. So, well, the saga of the Glen Scotia continues. Man, that is so weird. I wish we weren't in COVID lockdown here in Philly, because I'm part of the Philadelphia Whiskey Society, where we do a lot of BYOBs. We do a lot of tasting events. I would love to just bring this bottle there and be like, what do you guys think of this? I should actually email the guy who runs it. Maybe I'll send him an email too. We'll get two opinions on this. We'll email Glen Scotia, and then I'm going to email this guy, Alex. He's in Taiwan right now, because that's where he's spending most of his time. But I'll email him and see. He's like a whiskey aficionado of high level. So I'll let him know. I'll send him a picture of this and just be like, what do you think of this? We'll continue, man. The mystery begins. But yeah, man, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say other than I just drank half an ounce of it. Man. So here's the deal. Once this coronavirus stuff is open, I'm going to email a sample. I will mail a sample of this to anybody that wants one. So once we get the all clear here in Philadelphia, which may actually not be happening as it's supposed to, given some of the circumstances around the protest events that have been happening in the city. Once we have the all clear, anybody that wants a sample of this, I will mail it to you personally. And I will make sure that I give you my email to do so. And maybe we can all do a joint live where we taste this together and you guys can tell me what you think. Yeah, it'll be fun. Why not? All right. I got to wash this flavor out of my mouth, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to go back to this Dad's Hat. Unlike that Glen Scotia single cast, this here, a store pick, 4-year-old barrel strength rye whiskey, will cure what ails you. That is for sure. It's a Pennsylvania whiskey, which means not only Pennsylvania claims to be the birthplace of rye whiskey, at least as far as the United States goes, it is Pennsylvania rye is a specific style, which means no corn. It is only barley and rye in this. So I was sipping this as the night started. Fantastic stuff. This is got some accolades, at least the distillery. This is right outside where I am in Philly, a place called Bristol, PA. They were awarded some Craft Distiller of the Year award a couple years ago by Whiskey Advocate magazine, if I'm not mistaken. They make really good stuff. I have reviewed on my channel their introductory range Pennsylvania rye. This is a straight rye. This one's 4 years old. Store pick, but they also just do a regular straight rye, which is at least 3 years. Really, really good stuff. And it's going to take the taste out of my mouth for sure, because if there's one thing that'll do it, it's going to be this rye. Mike, you are 100% correct, my friend. It's like chasing bad money with good money. I got to see this through. I just got to see it through. We're going to see what happens. Emily Chambers, dude, it's either mold filaments or wart pits. You are probably not wrong, which means it's either extra healthy or terrifying. Yeah, I mean, if I grow a third arm or third eye or, two heads, we'll know. We'll see what happens. Headline: 1 week after your entire malt whiskey Saturday struck with blindness due to shady Glen Scotia. I mean, that's the thing, right? So like, there's only a few bottles. Like, they don't make a lot of bottles of this. This is like one of like 600 something. Somebody hand signed this. Somebody saw this and said, "Yep, send it on over." It says it's a classic peated Campbelltown whiskey. Okay. It says, here's what it says. I'll just read you the full thing. Rich sherry and peat nose, sweet, oily with bergamot, develops into lemon drizzle cake with a salty hue. I mean, salty hue is an understatement. A classic peated Campbelltown whiskey. There you go. That's what they got to say about that. We'll see. I'm saying just step up. Folks, step up. Once I'm telling you, I'll let you know on the live. I'll let you know on happy hour. Once it's safe to go to a post office in Philadelphia, I will mail a sample of this to anybody that wants it. And we can talk about it. You guys can tell me what's up. Neo says, nope. Peace off on that. Yeah, Mike. So yeah, we were supposed to go. Mike's in the area. You must be in the area. So June 5th, we were supposed to go from red to yellow, which was going to start opening up Philly. But given a lot of the protests around the George Floyd murder and Black Lives Matter stuff, it's unclear now whether or not Philadelphia's going to be opening. So I can't say I can mail this for you in the next week because I'm just not going to a post office. Plus, there's coronavirus. So who knows? All right, Neo. Yeah, I am going to do that Highland Park 21 for my 100th review, which should be in the next couple of weeks. If it is sample, if it's even remotely possibly spoiled, I'll let you know. But something tells me it's not. Emily Chambers. Oh yeah, he's in Jersey. You guys are killing me, man. This is exactly what we need right now. I mean, everybody deserves, no matter where you are and what's happening in your life, a little bit of laughter about some things. And y'all are bringing the thunder, man. I appreciate y'all so much. I raise a glass to every one of you. That's a murder hornets. This is too funny, man. It's just too damn funny. Let me check in. We are past the 9 o'clock hour. As you know, my boy Telex will be wrapping up his live review of Craigellachie 17. And then we are going to head on over to his channel for the live chat about it. I can't say how much I appreciate y'all. I'll be real with you just for a second. I'm not going to dwell on this. I'm not going to get political about it, but I'll just say, like, this has been a really rough 96 hours here in Philadelphia. I live in West Philadelphia, and this neighborhood, there's a lot of pain. There's a lot of trauma. There is a lot of anger. There's a lot of chaos, and it's been hard. And the city is a city that suffers a lot. It's got more poverty than any other major city in the United States. It's rough, but there's also a lot of beauty and a lot of good things happening. A lot of people are taking action for the first time on things that they care about. There are a lot of people who are helping clean up after some of the looting and other issues going on here. There's a lot of things happening. It's just heavy. So, things like this, just being able to chat with good folks, have a couple whiskeys, have some fun, have some laughs. These are the things that get us through the days in life. And so I appreciate all y'all. Back at you, Richie. Enough about that, though. We are going to be closing in relatively shortly here on our friend Telex the Whiskey Text. I will drop the link here relatively quick when the live stream begins. It should probably be about 3 or 4 more minutes. So let me just catch up, see what's going on. Yeah, I've heard about the murder hornets. Cheers, Santa Cruz, man. Santa Cruz and I have been chatting about whiskey on it for a couple of years now, whether it's been in passing in Food Quick channels or here, man. Always good to chat with you, man. I'm glad you're doing well, staying safe. Awesome to hear. Andrew Page says no problem. It takes several live streams, and I'm always mixing people up. So Andrew here will likely be joining us over on the Telex live stream because he's also got his hands on a bottle of that Glen Scotia, or I'm sorry, Craig. I Freudian slip there. Not the Glen Scotia, the Craig Ellachie 13. The Craig Ellachie 13. That's the one that we're going to go check out. So my boy Telex is going to be checking out the Craig Ellachie 13 or 17. I'm going to be sipping the 13. Real talk, Mike. Real talk. Matt D's got to head out. It's 3 a.m. Hey, get some good rest, man. Cheers. Peter said Telex is live on. Yeah, I know he's doing his short review. He usually reviews his whiskeys live, and then I'll usually hop on just around 9:10, 9:15. Once that link opens up, I'll definitely drop it in the chat. But if folks want to head over there now and check out his live review before we discuss it, man, feel free. Nothing going to stop that. He's got, as I mentioned, Craig Ellachie 17, so which is a whiskey that I couldn't find, but I was able to get, as I showed a little bit earlier, but one more time, this is the Craig Ellachie 13. So we're going to check this out. I don't know much about Craig Ellachie. This is a whiskey that, frankly, I was surprised to find. It's not a distillery that's got a name that stands out to me too much, and honestly isn't one that I've come across really ever. This 13 is not that hard to find, which is cool. And it's relatively reasonably priced. This comes in around I think it was somewhere in the $40 range, which, a little more, $45, which honestly is really good price for a 13-year-old whiskey. I think it's because in part this is a distillery that flies a little bit under the radar. So, I'm going to check it out. And I know Andrew's going to be sipping on it. We'll share our notes. We'll let you guys know. I mean, if this is a whiskey you've seen or you're looking for something in this range, we'll let you know if this is something worth picking up. I'm not quite sure what to expect. But really do like their presentation. Yeah. Cool. So we're going to be getting close here. I'll drop that link in here in just a sec once I know he's done. He's still talking about his Glen Scotia. So. Peter White said they have some strange age statements, 13, 17, and the ultra expensive 23. Yeah, that's what I also saw. They also, Jason just mentioned, they also have a 33, right? Yeah, these are, Craig Ellachie seems to be playing by their own rules, and maybe that's a good thing. But yeah, they do have some odd age statements. They kind of go, 13 is kind of 1 year more than your average 12, and they're 1 year less than your average 18. I've never actually seen anything older than that 23. I'm not sure, actually. Let me just take a quick look. I'm not sure, if you guys have ever seen Craig Ellachie whiskeys anywhere, what prices you see them at. Just going to take a quick look here. So here's the 23-year-old, $200. I mean, that's not, $250. $250 is not the worst price ever for a 24-year-old whiskey, but I don't know what to expect. I know somebody mentioned they have a 30-year-old or something like that. Wow. Yeah, these are expensive. I mean, I can't imagine. They must not be putting a lot of output. So here's the 31-year-old. It looks like it's kind of you can get it in the States. There's a place in Atlantic Beach, New York, selling it for $2,500. I'm not going to tell you to buy a 31-year-old whiskey at that price. That doesn't seem quite what we would want to spend on any whiskey. But apparently it exists. It must be a pretty rare to find. As for other Craig Ellachie's, I'll be curious. Let me know in the chat if you've had any of this 17-year-old that Telex is going to be looking at tonight in that 130, 140 range, which isn't that bad. That's not too bad for, the way prices are going with 18-year-old whiskeys these days. $150, something like this, not the worst price in the world. It looks like it's pretty, comparable. We'll see. He's going to let us know how that Craig Ellicky works. It looks like he just finished up his live review, so I'm going to have the link for you all to share in just a couple seconds here. Let me just pop on over and see if he is ready to roll. Let's see here. I'm actually looking forward to this. I mean, I always like trying these distilleries that I think fly a little bit under the radar, and this definitely sounds like it's going to be one of them. Let me just see if I can find that link. He's probably ready to go live here. Yeah, he'll be ready in a couple minutes. Richie said, maybe have a 5-year wee space size in the future. Ooh. Are you talking about the wee beastie? Or maybe they're going to put one out. I don't know. Maybe I'm not sure if I've ever seen anything other than the 13 in wild. Haven't been looking there. Yeah, right. Exactly. I mean, it's just not a distillery that I've spent much time looking for because honestly, I don't know much about it. So tonight's going to be a learning experience for me for sure. And yeah, I think, we'll find out from Telex once he goes live with the chat, whether or not this is a whiskey that he gets his hands on or finds relatively frequently. I can tell you that I have not seen a Craig Ellicky 17 pretty much anywhere. This just doesn't seem like a whiskey that I know much about. The only one I ever see again is this 13. This one I've seen, not everywhere. It's not a whiskey that I think is like readily accessible, but it's definitely something that, isn't rare, right? I mean, you can definitely get your hands on it. So this should be a lot of fun. I think we'll have the link for you ready in just a couple seconds here, but yeah, it looks like he's ready to go. So I'm going to pop the link in here. Check out the chat, y'all. That is the YouTube link. You probably got to copy paste, but feel free to head over to that link. This is going to be the spot where we are going to do as we always do on Tuesday, which is we do our little happy hour here on the Malt Muser channel, and we'll head on over to Telex Whiskey Tech, and we're going to chat Craig Ellicky. So feel free to hop that link. It'll get you right into the live chat. I'll see everybody over there. Till next week, we'll check in on that Glen Scotia, have a couple more laughs, and appreciate y'all. Stay safe. Cilantro.